All right, and we are live. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining in. My name is Brendon, aka Mystic Spider-Man, and this is our very special Conscious Media Creator Support Circle for December 2nd, 2021. And for those of you who may be new to this, I'll give a bit of an introduction. And of course, with this and many of the other events that we do here through the Paradigm Shift Central community, I am joined on air by some fellow amazing conscious creators. So fellow conscious creators here within the broadcast tonight, just bring you guys up on camera. You guys can wave hello to the people tuning into this and those of you who are listening on Spotify in the future. Again, we've got myself, Brendon, we've got Candice, Darrius, Kyle, we've got Michael, aka Obi-Wan Care Bear, we've got Lizzy, we've got Kristen, and we've also got Alicea and also Kristen C, who is driving in their car right now. So again, shout out to everyone and shout out to those of you who are with us in the YouTube chat as well. And for those of you in the YouTube chat, just do me a favor, drop an 1111 in the YouTube chat just to be able to confirm everything's coming through loud and clear. And with that said, I'll give a bit of an overview as to what to be able to expect, and then we'll get right into the core of this event. So this is a Conscious Media Creator Support Circle. So our Conscious Media Creator Support Circle within the project of Paradigm Shift Central. Paradigm Shift Central is this project that we've been doing for quite some time. And this is a project about being able to create a sacred digital space to support fellow conscious media creators. So I've been creating conscious media for like a long time. A lot of you guys are familiar with my story. And within this community project, it's both for spiritual seekers and conscious media creators, but really leaning into the support for the conscious media creators. Being a conscious media creator myself, I've had a lot of experience, and I want to be able to not only share some of that experience, but also to be able to create the space to be able to have the discussion, for us to be able to support each other, for us to be able to share wisdom and insight, and to look at challenges, and to be able to get better clarity on our journey together. And so as conscious media creators, again, just kind of going over some basics here, being a conscious media creator, what does that mean to you? This is about being able to help assist with the shift in consciousness, to be able to help bring more consciousness into this world, to bring more awareness of the self, awareness of our relationship, awareness to environments, awareness to our spiritual nature, to the metaphysical dimensions of this reality that we are evolving into, whatever the case may be. And at the end of the day, I like to remind people that, being a conscious creator, very simply, is a journey of being able to help bring people back to the wisdom of the heart space. So our Conscious Media Creators Circles, a support circle that we're doing here, this is actually within the continuation of our Conscious Media Creator Dojo. So this is still a Conscious Media Creator Dojo event. And the Conscious Media Creator Dojo events that we've done so far, you can find those online in the info for this video on YouTube. And the previous ones that we have done so far, I'm trying to even think, I'm not sure if I'll just, I'll pull up the list real quick, because we've done so many, and I just want to be able to make sure I'm giving a full overview of what we've done so far. The ones that we've done so far, the 6 that we've done so far, we've done on being a creator and embodying our why, building community and earning income, facilitating events and live broadcasts, mastering content for Instagram and TikTok, learning about Patreon and Discord, developing dynamic leadership as a conscious creator. So there's a lot for you to be able to go back and check out, especially if you're new to the journey of being a conscious media creator. And we hope that for those of you listening to this in the future, we hope it inspires you, either just by listening to what we are talking about here as conscious media creators, and just kind of motivating you to be able to really see the value of you stepping into this space, not only for your personal development through your creative expression, but also to be able to see the value of your story, the value of your creative energy that you can bring into this world, the value that you have as a leader, the value that you can bring into being able to create sacred space, even kind of like similar to this as well. So quick final overview of that, and then we'll just get into some meditation. The other things that I want to be able to invite people to be able to know about. Again, if you're not already familiar, we do have a Discord server. That's where you can connect in with our team. Through our Discord server, it functions a little bit differently. It's actually really cool, because that's where you'll actually get information and notifications about content and event from our members in our community. So even if you're not fully involved just yet, recommend joining the Discord. That way, so you can keep up to speed with not only our weekly events that we host, that I personally host, but also the other events that other members are hosting, plus special events and content, and again, different services that they offer as well. So the Discord server is in the info for this video. And also we do have our Patreon. The Patreon is where you can join at an $11 monthly contribution, and that will give you access to these ongoing events that we do, and also access to me for conscious media creation coaching. So as a member, you guys get to be able to have full access to the Discord, get to be able to collaborate, get to be able to message me anytime, for us to be able to help support each other, and lots of other benefits to be able to help you with being able to reach your content to a wider audience. And plus, it's just a really cool space to be able to surround yourself with other people who get what this journey is about. So building community, having a team of conscious media creators is what this project is all about. And I'm so grateful to be surrounded by such amazing fellow conscious creators. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. Thank you to Neil. Neil also just joined. So welcome again, everyone. And yeah, what we're going to be doing today for our Conscious Media Creator Support Circle. If you guys hadn't yet, the previous week that we did, which was our Spiritual Seeker Support Circle, was really, really, really powerful. And I'd recommend you guys go back and check out that. But with that, we're kind of continuing a bit of a similar theme and a concept where we're going to go through just brief introductions of everybody here. And then we're going to be having some specific question prompts. And then from those question prompts, those will actually spark discussion. We're going to keep it pretty short today. This broadcast, we're going to be done by about 10 p.m. my time. So we got about like less than 2 hours to really play with this energy, but we're going to keep it really concise, really intentional, and really potent. And so we're going to be having a few questions. It was literally just 4 questions. Within those questions, it will help you just kind of like tap into more of your own personal inspiration and excitement and help you get clarity. And then also the later half of the discussion will also be focusing on what are some of the challenges as conscious media creators and being able to share a little bit about what we've been learning together as a team. So with that said, let's just get into a very short meditation, just be able to kind of like align, drop into our heart space. And then we'll start off just by going through with a quick introduction of all the people here. And for those of you who are watching this in the future, encouraging you to connect with all the creators on air, and the links for them will be in the info for this video on YouTube after the recording. And yeah, this is a chance for us to be able to feature some of the members in the community. So thank you again, everyone. And yeah, let's just do a quick meditation. So if you guys just want to get nice and comfortable, and again, for those of you on TikTok or Instagram, feel free to click the link in my profile and join in on YouTube. Okay. All right. So with everybody here, just take a moment here, just connect with your breath. You can just close your eyes, or even if you feel like you want to keep your eyes open, that's totally fine. Just allow yourself to just be aware of where your breath is right now. Soft, gentle inhales and soft, gentle exhales. And take a moment here if you want to just gently put your hand on your heart. And as you breathe here, again, just allowing ourselves to just arrive into our heart space, arrive into the softness, being here now, being here in this space of like-minded, like-hearted individuals, those of us who are constantly aligning with our why, with our purpose, with our devotion to be able to help serve others. Just acknowledging the gratitude that we have for each other, for this space, for the support that we are cultivating, for the visions that we are crystallizing. And just allow yourself to really just kind of like feel into the bigger story of how all of us right now are here to serve the collective, to be able to help bring about the shift into new earth, whatever that means to you, into new earth, new heart. Take the H off of earth, put it at the front, and you've got heart, new heart, awareness of the heart. And so just take a moment here to really just be able to acknowledge the value that you innately carry. Acknowledge your role as a leader simply by being your authentic self. Acknowledge your ability to be able to help change the world through your art, to be able to help create space, and to be a sacred mirror for others to see themselves. So just take a moment here to just kind of hold in your heart this vision of just how much we as conscious media creators, those of us, no one told us to do this. We're all just answering this from our own heart. It's something within inside of us that we've been called to do. Just take a moment here to just acknowledge how much we have already done. And whether that be from you personally, or again, the people that you surround yourself with, that you see, and just imagine all of the seeds that we've planted, all of this energy, just imagine it just kind of like becoming this like golden energy that surrounds the earth. And every day we're working, we're showing up, we're playing, we're leading, we're creating, and this energy is just becoming more and more vibrant. The light within the heart of those on this planet is illuminating, dissolving the dust, clearing away the dust from the lens of the hearts. And so let us hold that vision and just kind of imagine, even as we continue this conversation today, that that light will just continue to illuminate even brighter every single day that we show up, every single day that we take care of ourselves. We're continuing to serve something bigger than any one of us alone. And it takes a team to be able to do it. So just honor the team. Feel that moment, feel that momentum, feel that joy, feel that excitement, feel that love, feel that inspiration, igniting that fire inside of you. Inspire, inspiration. Take a couple more deep breaths here and then we'll finish it up. Nice big inhale. Nice soft exhale, bit of a sigh if you need it. Another one of those, deep inhale. Nice soft exhale. Allow yourself within your heart to just be able to express any words of gratitude to the members of all the conscious creators out there, to this space, to your teammates here. What do you want to say to them right now? And just allow yourself to receive that gratitude in return. So it's filling our hearts with love as we carry this with us, carry this vibration with us throughout the rest of today's discussion within this intentional space. Keeping this vibration within our hearts, slowly from here, we'll gently begin to bring our awareness back to our physical body. And when you're ready, slowly you can wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and gently open your eyes and return your awareness to the space around you. Beautiful. All right, welcome back, everyone. Cool. If you guys want to leave some comments, even for those of you in the YouTube chat, in the Zoom room, how are you guys feeling right now? 1 or 2 words, please feel free to leave that in the chat. And yeah, we'll get things started here. So one thing I'll just mention, I forgot to mention this at the top. If you guys haven't checked out paradigmshiftcentral.com, our main website, feel free to do that. Like, that's a website that you can like use to send to people, because not only does it like feature again like the new content that we have within our broadcast, but it links people to the Discord. It also has the featured community YouTube playlist. It also has like the featured new TikTok playlist, which I'm still updating. So if you're looking for like a single landing page to see the new TikToks created by members in our community, go to paradigmshiftcentral.com, get familiar with it, check that out, refresh it daily, and there's lots of new content there on the regular. So just wanted to be able to mention that. And again, link for that's in the info, paradigmshiftcentral.com. So yeah, getting into this, you know, one of the things that's really important about being a conscious media creator, and I'll just share this, just kind of continue to hype us up, and then we're going to pass it around with some brief introductions. And again, this is all just practice for everybody here, is that the reason why I'm so passionate about being able to help support fellow conscious media creators is because, like, what are conscious media creators doing? Conscious media creators, among other things, it's like we are the ones who are helping narrate the story, who are helping decide what story it is that we're living as a collective within small spaces and within big spaces. And this is very, very powerful, because when you think about like the way that we go about our life, so much of that is dictated by the story that we are living. So there's a lot of people who are currently living someone else's story, the media's story, the government's story, their parents' story, the institution's story, about this story that's very disempowering, or maybe just less than, or one that's just kind of like, you know, like not necessarily addressing the things that need to be addressed. So as conscious media creators, again, a big part of our role is the opportunity to really be able to start putting some more attention towards becoming conscious of what story do we want to tell. And so that's where I invite all of us to really begin to tell those stories of, again, of inspiration, of cultivation, of momentum, of healing, of creativity, of expression, of ancient connections to our ancestors, of gratitude, of love, of courage, of compassion, all of these things. There's so much to be able to tell within the story. So I just want to put that in your guys' mind, to just be able to like imagine, like, what's the most epic story that we could tell right here on this earth at this time. And it is an epic story. We just need to be able to let people know that this story is going on. And again, this story is like a story of like the collective shift in consciousness, people returning back to the heart, awakening to their sovereignty, and remembering our nature as multidimensional beings and our inherent divinity, so to speak, among many other things. So yeah, huge shout out to, again, to everyone here. And I hope that for those of you listening to the future, I hope that if you haven't already yet, I hope that maybe you get some inspiration to be like, oh, maybe I'm going to start being a conscious media creator. And again, feel free to connect with our team, and feel free to direct message me anytime for anybody listening to this in the future. So let's get going just by going around the circle with a bit of a brief introduction, and literally just like 1 minute each. from everyone here, even if you can just do it in 30 seconds. And then we're going to get right into our first question, which will prompt the discussion. And so basically just inviting you guys to be able to just share like your name, your handles online, and then a bit about like who you are and what you do as a conscious media creator. If you're just getting started as a conscious media creator, you can replace that with a bit of the things that you're interested in, and maybe some of the things that you're thinking like that you might feel called to do that, but you're not entirely sure about. That's totally fine. So let's Neil, I know you're here. I'm not 100% sure if you're on camera, but we can pass it over to whoever else wants to go first. I know we got some of our regulars here, so whoever wants to be able to just introduce themselves first, please feel free to just raise your hand and we can pass it over. We can pass it over to, sure, we might as well pass it over to Kristen. Sure, why not? So we'll pass it over to Kristen. And again, I'll post a link for the creators as they come on air. We'll post that into the YouTube channel. So for everybody here, be sure to give some love to the fellow creators that we have on air. So Kristen, welcome again to the circle, one of our leading members for quite some time. And go ahead and introduce yourself, Kristen. And thank you so much for being here.
Awesome. Thank you, Brendon. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, it sounds okay. The microphone seems like it's like a little different, but no worries. You don't have to change it right now. It's fine.
Awesome. So yeah, my name's Kristen, Pinocchio Rising. You can find me on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. I'm a Reiki practitioner and a motivational guide. I love being able to lead meditations and share community spaces like this one today, and connecting with all the amazing creators that we have in this beautiful community and beyond. So I'm always very inspired by each and every one of you, and I always feel like I get a really beautiful opportunity to learn a little bit and share a little bit in spaces. So very grateful, Brendon, for you holding the space today, and yeah, just grateful to be here with you all.
Awesome. Thank you, Kristen. And with that said, we'll just pass it over to whoever's next. So if we can just get a couple of hands up, and then we'll just create a bit of a queue. We've got Darrius. Yeah, sure. We'll pass over to Darrius, and we'll pass over to Lizzy. Go ahead, Darrius.
Hey, yeah. So I'm Darrius. Right now you can reach me at my Instagram. That's Darrius Strassel. Right now doing like a mix of things. Also kind of getting started in the conscious media creation, but lately I've been doing a lot of writing. Exploring certain like philosophical topics about well, it's about consciousness, but that's never the title directly, just kind of brain teasers to get you to think about things in different ways. So that's just, and then I also do some photography, mostly just like for fun, artistic pursuit. So yeah, thanks for it. Also, thank you for holding the space here, Brendon. Good to see everyone, and looking forward to whatever emerges.
Thank you, Darrius. Lizzy, we can pass over to you. Who wants to go after Lizzy, just so we're keeping track on who would like to go next. And again, if you guys are just feeling like you're wanting to be quiet today, it's totally fine. Kyle, did you put your hand up? We can pass it over to you after that. Yeah, okay. All right, so Lizzy, go right ahead. Welcome.
Awesome. So cool to be here again. I love the dojos. I'm Lizzy K at Love Lizzy K across all platforms. A self-love and relationships guide for women, women's wellness mentor, and spiritual guide. And yeah, I help women who women entrepreneurs who experience ongoing emotional distress to relax more and step into the version of themselves that they envision themselves to be. And yeah, happy to be here with y'all.
Awesome. Thank you, Lizzy. And Kyle, will pass it over to you next. Go right ahead, Kyle.
Hi, I'm Kyle. You can follow me at beautiful_breathing. I got a couple other ones, but I don't really under like TikTok and those ones, but it's not really associated with the breathing. I'm basically like I'm trying to become like a breathing coach for people and a lifestyle type of coach. I just got recently certified in carnivore lifestyle. So I'm trying to bring that whole breathing, cold aspect with nutrition, and I also want to get into where I teach people like extreme saunaing in a sense, but that's where it's headed.
Awesome. Thank you, Kyle. And who would like to go next after Kyle? If we have anybody else who'd like to be able to go. And again, this is just like super quick introduction, then we'll get into the questions after that. So would anybody else like to be able to go? No, we're just kind of chilling out. Someone's Kristen. Yeah, did you want to go? I know you're driving right now. Okay, Kristen, go ahead. I know you're just on audio. Go for it.
My name's Kristen, and my handles are Spiral Soulfeed, and I am a magician and meditation enthusiast. Well, I came into offering things to the community through making crystal jewelry, and that's kind of shot off into other areas of passion and interest. So I'm an energy healer and certified meditation teacher and practitioner of a modality called the Spiral, which is a really beautiful, personal, transformative, emotional focused clearing journey that's changed my life. And yeah, essentially I do tarot as well, and I just kind of put it under the heading of personal transformation arts, to get all of it covered and out there, and yeah, just really about whatever comes up in my heart and passion to that I feel is valuable to the people around in terms of personal transformation, and crystals in particular as a tool for emotional therapeutics and personal evolution. So I find that my spirituality has really bloomed a lot from emotional ownership and embracing how emotional we are as human beings, and being able to hold that in its entirety has been a massive key to life force for me and vitality, and has led me to just pursuing so many different things with all these things I'm offering. And then I'm also training to be a celebrant at the moment too. So yeah, really multifaceted personal transformation arts. And yeah, I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, but I mainly use Instagram. So you can find me Spiral Soulseed. And thanks for holding the space, Brendon. This is amazing.
Thank you, Kristen. Happy to be able to have you here. And with that said, we'll pass it over to Neil. I can see your hand up, and then we'll pass it over to Alicea after that. So Neil, go right ahead. Quick introduction, who you are and what you do.
Hey everybody, this is Neil. I'm the founder of an organization called Portal to Ascension, basically a conscious event production company, create many events, worked with a lot of speakers, authors, researchers on many topics, and I have a website that has quite a few thousand hours of presentations there, sorted by speaker and category. And then myself, I'm a philosopher, researcher, ancient history enthusiast, hardcore, trying to decipher out true timeline. Part of my research is definitely about space and galaxy and the way the universe works, and galactic origins, how it connects to extraterrestrials. But I'm really interested in deciphering ancient civilizations, creation stories of ancient civilizations, sound and vibration science, and how the ancients knew about it. And my intention, my purpose on this planet at this time is really just to provide a lot of awareness and just put it out there, content on many different topics, so that we can empower ourselves to become the sovereign beings that we're always supposed to be. That's it for me.
Thank you, Neil. Yeah, and again, if you guys haven't yet, check out Portal to Ascension and .org. And quick plug, I'll be doing a private flow tree event through the Portal to Ascension on December 18th at 3 p.m. EST. And you guys can check the link for that in my bio on Instagram, but I'll be talking more about it. And we also got a special December 21st broadcast, and that's going to be in collaboration with Portal to Ascension. And Neil's got his own special, kind of the hidden meaning of Christmas and the symbolism of Christmas. That's also going to be on December 21st. So lots happening there. And Neil, thank you again for being here. Appreciate it, man. Awesome. All right. And Alicea, we can pass it over to you. And then we also have Eloise and Michael. And again, if you guys would like to introduce yourself after that, you're more than welcome to. But if you feel like you're ready to pass, that's okay. Either or is totally fine. So let's pass it over to Alicea. Alicea, welcome back. And when you're ready, go right ahead.
Hi. Thank you so much for having me here. Hi, everyone. You guys all sound so cool. All of you guys just sound so cool, man. So I'm excited to check out some of your content. Yeah, my name's Alicea Young. I'm just breaking through my, this threshold of coming out of my shadow work, all the healing, and I'm ready to come into full expression because I'm amazing. Some of my, I'm a musician. I am a channel for multidimensional sound vibration. And I'm an empowerment leader. So I'm so excited to be here because you guys are all really inspiring. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, Alicea. Yeah, I will say like the squad that we got here, like a lot of really powerful creators here. So all right, let's keep things passing around here. And Eloise or Michael, would you guys like to practice introducing yourself? And again, either or is totally fine. Eloise, would you like to go next? Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I can go. So I'm Eloise, and I also go by Weezy. So you can find me on Instagram at Weezy for Sheezy. And I'm working on doing kind of like personal and spiritual coaching and doing a focus with neurodiversity on that. And my ultimate goal is to kind of like lead from a place of authenticity and inspire others to do so and bring together science, spirituality, and empathy. And so I'm trying to create spaces for that. And then in the future, try to offer like coaching services, which I am working on now and I'm really excited about. So yeah, that's Eloise.
Awesome. Thank you, Eloise. And Candice, did you want to introduce yourself as a conscious creator? Go for it, Candice.
Hi, my name's Candice, and I do many things, but I mostly write poetry and about developing worlds that are not existent yet, but I feel that when I do write about it, about these magical realms of creation, the worlds that I'm creating, as soon as I give them a body to speak, they come alive. And my whole thing is I'm committed to creating worlds that work for everyone. They can come together and play and just bring their own creative pie to the mix. And at the same time, share love and connection. That's me.
Thank you, Candice. And again, we've almost gone through everyone. Cassius has joined us, and Cassius, again, we're just going through quick introductions, who we are, our handles, and what we do as a conscious media creator. So if you want to introduce yourself next, Cassius, please, by all means, and welcome, dude.
All right, guys, what is up? You guys already know my name. So I'm on TikTok, I'm on YouTube, I'm trying to be on every platform, but I mostly talk about astral projection, ETs, and recently I've been looking into 5D and stuff like that. So I'm really delving into consciousness a lot more. I've been on, making videos for I'd say a good 7 months now. I've been really delving deep, and COVID's made me it's given me a whole new life, right? So it's a blessing. At first it seemed like a curse, but it really is a blessing, and I'm so glad it happened. But yeah, it's just the universe is really opening up and showing itself to me recently, and I'm just so excited to meet some of you guys now.
Awesome. Thank you, Cassius. Happy to have you here again. And just checking in. Michael, if you would like to introduce yourself, you're more than welcome to. Do you want to give it a shot? Yeah, go for it. Welcome.
Sure. So this is my first time here. I just signed up literally like 2 days ago. But my journey is similar to Alicia's, where I just came out of my shadow work, and now it's kind of, I got the calling to share my story, but I don't exactly know how. So I'm kind of just observing everything today. But like I'm an artist, I'm an illustrator. I'm very involved in the LGBT community. So I just don't know where to start. And that's bad.
Michael, thank you again for joining. And again, this is a great first step. And yeah, I would just encourage you to just kind of like sit back, relax, enjoy, and just kind of like take it all in, and it will all just naturally unfold as we move forward. So no rush. And thank you again for being here. So cool. Awesome. All right. For those of you in the Zoom room, I posted everyone's Instagram link. So if you guys are excited to be able to follow each other, go ahead and do that as we're going through this. And yeah, we're going to start off by getting into our first question prompt. So just again, as a quick reiteration of what we're going to be doing here today, I got literally just a few questions, and we're going to be, again, keeping the time limit to about 10 p.m. today. So we'll keep things relatively concise but potent. And there's 4 questions that we're going to go through. And then with each question, I just want you guys to just kind of like sit and meditate just for a little bit, and then we're going to start a discussion based on each question, and each question is like designed to be able to help kind of like, again, help you get a little bit more clarity within your own path as a conscious media creator. And it will be great just to be able to help listen to what everybody else has to be able to share. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. For those of you on YouTube, again, you guys still get to be able to participate simply by listening. And yeah, for everybody here, just go ahead, just get yourself nice and comfortable. If you guys want to like take any like pen and note paper for journaling, that's totally fine. Or just use your computer to write out some notes. So, all right. So the first question that we're going to ask, and as I ask this, again, I'll just kind of ask it, and then we'll just kind of like softly just go into a little bit of silence, and then we'll come out of it with a little bit of discussion, because I want you guys to really just like feel. Don't just like think about the answer, like feel the answer, like look inside for the answer. So, all right. So the first question for everybody here, very intentional question, and one that I think is very powerful as well. So the question is, when are you in your highest excitement as a creator? When are you in your highest excitement as a creator? So think about this. This could be like, oh, I just like spent a day making a new video, or oh, I'm like facilitating a new event, or oh, someone left some really beautiful comments on my post. So whatever the case may be. So again, I'll stop talking here. Take some time. Just think it out, and we'll come back in about 30 seconds. So just chill out and feel that. Just about 20 more seconds. Okay. All right. Busy seeing everybody writing things down, and I would encourage you guys, like, keep writing things out even as we're talking about it. Write things, maybe other people are going to say things that might just kind of like prompt something for you. If someone says something, you're like, oh, that was really cool, like feel free to write it out. So by the time you're done with this, whatever you've written out, like it will almost be like a roadmap for you. And again, the sequence of the questions, I hope you guys are able to stick around for all the questions, and you'll see how it all kind of ties in. So let's open up a little bit of discussion here, and I'll hold off on sharing my stuff and just be able to invite somebody else to just be able to share, and then we'll just kind of go around, and again, we'll just be mindful of the time. But yeah, again, this is all just practice, and yeah, thank you again. So who would like to be able to share? Again, the question being, when are you in your highest excitement as a creator? So who would like to be able to share that?
I'll start.
Go for it, Candice.
So I'm in my highest creator mode when I allow my characters have a voice. Like I create the poem, and I deepen my question in my heart and ask what they want to put out. And it's just really cool to watch the creation come alive and put it out there in the world. That's me.
Thank you, Candice. That's a beautiful answer. And again, for whoever would like to go next, just go ahead and raise your hand so we can just keep passing it around as we go. So I'll just kind of say something here, but again, I'll just keep an eye open for anybody else as you guys put your hand up. Darrius will pass it to you in 2 seconds. Yeah, that's very beautiful, Candice. And again, you know, like one of my kind of short answers amongst a few, I'm in my highest excitement when I'm a creator, when I really feel like there's like a vision that I have, like maybe it's like an idea for a new video, and then the process of like being able to bring that into tangible form. I know a lot of us can relate to this. I'm Cassius, I'm sure you can relate to this particular, where you can kind of like, you're like, okay, here's the idea for a video, and then suddenly like it's done, and it's just like this like tangible thing in front of you. The phrase I like to be able to use, which we do as creators, is to go from vision to fruition. So to literally just think that as a creator, our journey is to literally crystallize these like kind of like etheric ideas and bring them into physical form. I think that's a very beautiful thing. And it's actually interesting because like that's something that's like very special about being in the dimension of this reality. We have the ability to like use our hands in a way where we can like bring the etheric into the physical. Not many like species can do that. We're like one of the few that can fully do that. So Candice, thank you again. And let's keep passing it around. So Darrius, I'll pass it over to you. And again, if you guys want to use the raise hand button in Zoom, that's fine. And then we'll just keep passing it around as we go. Go ahead, Darrius.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it's kind of pretty similar. You touched on it even. It's almost like I would describe it as like a flow. That kind of like moment when there's this sense of almost like you're like performing this concept that you don't necessarily know what it's going to look like yet. So for me, that's kind of like when I get a certain idea about a topic or something, and I'll get essentially like this unique perspective. I'll think like, okay, I understand this idea, but here's this thing that maybe people aren't talking about, or something that even I haven't been thinking about. And then I kind of see like the synthesis, and then I can kind of almost like channel that into writing. And then at the end of it, it's just like this new interesting concept that hopefully maybe unlocks something else for others as well. So, the flow state.
The flow state, very well said. Yeah, it's beautiful when we can do that as creators, where it's like, we're creating something, and again, it's kind of like that shift from like trying to create something to just being a channel for the creativity to creation to flow through you. You know, like our body is like it's like a birthing device. It literally is like a channel. It's a birthing channel. So it's like ideas move through us and they're birthed out of us in a way. So it's like, what ideas are coming through you? And I invite everyone to kind of like think that, and you don't even have to know the answer, but if you can just kind of like feel that. Some of us have been in the habit of doing this for quite some time, but even for those of us who maybe new, that's where, again, part of the journey of being a conscious creator is partly to be able to observe where the blockages may be that are preventing us. So it's like part of the excitement is like when those blockages get clear, and it's just like that, it's like a breath of fresh air. And it's just like, whoa, this isn't even work. This is just like grace that's kind of moving through. Kristen, I'll pass it over to you next. When you're ready, go right ahead, Kristen.
Thank you, Brendon and Darrius. I'm so grateful you brought up flow, because that's literally what I wrote down, was a combination of the flow state with creative inspiration. So I love whenever I get a idea and then feel that kind of like passion forming, and then you get the like courage to step out and do it, especially if it's something that is new that you've never tried before. Like Michael, I believe is your name, that, you know, coming on this for the first time, I remember that was something that really ignited my like passion and inspiration. So being able to like step out of that comfort zone, do the thing, and then while you're doing the thing, like kind of realizing that you found that flow state with it, or even just like touching on it and kind of being able to feel that little bit of, okay, I kind of see where this is going, and, you know, playing with it from there. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, that's one thing as a creator. It's like whether or not it's the highest point of excitement, but I guess it's probably like the highest point of excitement within the individual moment is like when you do that first broadcast or when you post that first video, because there's only like one first sort of thing, and it doesn't have to be like this huge amazing spectacle, but I do hold space in my heart for members in our community. You know, I often encourage you guys to do your own broadcasts, and then to like be able to do that broadcast, and then by the time you're done, you're just like, I did it. Like I just did something I have never done before. It's kind of like, it's like going back to when we were in like grade school and we like did a presentation in front of the class or something. We're like, whoa, like it wasn't too bad. And suddenly the excitement is actually realizing that, you know, the story and the fear that we might have created in our head is actually the obstacles within our mind are larger than they appear in real life. So it's kind of like it creates a momentum to be like, oh, like what can I do next? And then you start getting excited. You start focusing on what you can create, opposed to just this narrative of what you can't create, where that's what happens as creator. We were like, oh, like I can't do that. I can't do this. I can't do that. And then suddenly you're like narrowing yourself based on can'ts. Start focusing on what you can do, and realize that path is like incredibly, you know, it's infinitely broad. So Kristen, thank you again for sharing. Let's keep things passing around here. Who would like to be able to go next? And again, even if it's in like reply to other things that other people are saying here, and again, we're just kind of having discussion. So if there's like things that you guys want to share where it's like, you know, maybe this is what's helped you kind of tap into your excitement and stuff, like we're here to be able to share that wisdom and everything as well with each other. So anybody else who wants to be able to go next, either click the Zoom raise your hand button or just raise your hand on camera. Alicea or Chris, okay, go Kristen and then Alicea. Kristen, go ahead. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, sorry, I can't see anyone's raised
It's all good.
Yeah, I agree with the flow state thing, and like that sensation of like when you feel like what you're doing is like a magnetic situation, you just can't even escape it if you wanted to. There's just so much like a passion surge and like feeling like you're meant to be doing it. And also if I'm doing readings like for collective groups, then when people like say things like, I feel like you're reading specifically to me right now, and that really kind of flicks my switch to be like, yes, we're all connected. Like this is just, I am channeling this stuff and it's coming out, and I feel like a magnetic pull to say what I'm saying, and it's hitting people in the heart. This feels really, that gets me really excited. And yeah, the other thing that brings excitement is, yeah, what you were talking about, Brendon, when you hit that sweet spot of doing something courageous, like where you overcome one of your edges, and you get that taste of celebration, but also how infinitely that could go on as you keep meeting like the edges of what you were prepared to do before. And yeah, you're outside of those old narratives, and you actually feel, yeah, that transformation inside, and yeah, get to celebrate it.
Very well said. Thank you, Kristen. And it's interesting because like even some of the stuff we're talking about now, again, like in the next little bit, like we're actually going to be kind of like looking into some of like our challenges as a conscious media creator. One of the challenges of the conscious media creator, it's important to pay attention to our excitement, because if you're a conscious media creator and maybe you've just kind of gotten yourself into a routine where suddenly the excitement meter is like a little bit lower, pay attention to that, because that's an important time to be able to look at things and be like, okay, where can I change things? Like how can I show up into my work where it does feel exciting? Because if it doesn't feel exciting, that doesn't mean that, you know, it's just like, oh, I guess this is the end of my path. It just means that it's time to create a new path. It's time to kind of like rechange, refurbish, readjust, maybe even go back to some old ways. I've done that plenty of times where like sometimes I'll get so into just kind of like a routine as a creator and I still love it, but then it's just like, like, and I have to ask myself, I'm like, when am I at my highest excitement? And I'm like, oh yeah, like when I'm creating those type of videos. And I'm like, that's what I haven't been doing. Like, that's what I was missing. I've gone like months and I forgot to do those, and not to no fault of my own. I just got busy with other stuff. So I'll just say this and I'll pass it over to Alicea. The reason why I'm asking you guys about your excitement, like what is excitement? Like literally just ask yourself, like, what is excitement? Excitement, one way of putting it from a very spiritual perspective, excitement is literally the process of like your heart chakra, like feeling the energy of like a path before you. And so the idea of excitement is actually this idea of the kind of like the future rippling into the present moment through the heart, through what we recognize as excitement. And so excitement, if you pay attention to it, it's actually like a guiding mechanism. follow that which excites you. So if you're not following that which excites you, it's easy to kind of just get lost in the woods, so to speak. But if you're paying attention to what excites you and you know what excites you, that becomes your compass, and then that will actually allow you to dictate your excitement, your direction. Because I guarantee you, as a conscious media creator, that's what the universe wants you to do. It wants you to do the things that are exciting. Not to say it's all going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of back-end managerial work. However, even that back-end managerial administrative work can still be exciting, because it's like, this is all part of the bigger framework. And sometimes you have to do kind of the harder work in order to be able to create the space for the play. So it's finding that balance, but keeping your compass pointed towards the energy of excitement is also very important. Again, getting clear on that within yourself. Alicea, let's pass it over to you. And then whoever else wants to go to that, again, just raise your hand when you're ready. And Alicea, go right ahead.
Yeah, I'm hearing, it's so funny because I'm hearing so much of like what I wanted to express. When I feel most excited when I'm creating is when I literally feel source like just vibrating through me, right? Because I'm just so entranced with what I'm doing, whether it's singing or dancing or spoken word, and you can just feel source like pulsing through you. The excitement is so grand, and this compassion, there's like this overwhelming compassion knowing that like this is on a collective level. Like I'm so excited to share this, right? I'm so excited to share this. It's just heart-wrenching, you know. You just I need to break through like how to capture those moments, because right now, like when I'm trying to make videos and stuff, and it's like when I'm creating and that real good stuff, there's no thought, right? There's no thought. It just flows out of you. Right. So when I get caught up trying to make video, I mean, it will come, right? But, breaking that threshold of like, I get wrapped up in like you setting it up. And by the time you do all the things, you're like, I'm not even into this anymore. Right. And you're like trying to make something happen. So, how do I capture that magic so I can share it?
Thank you, Alicea. Yeah, that's where even just now, again, we're kind of like starting to lean into some of the interesting challenges that we have as creators, and yeah, like with that, just as a quick response, and we can talk more about this later. I find that for me, again, I know what you mean, where it's kind of like the inspiration is kind of like something that's almost like, it's like weather. It kind of like arrives, it arrives, and then it can kind of like pass. Now, there are ways to kind of like constantly be able to tap into that inspiration, but sometimes it is almost like a fleeting moment. And that's where I find that in those cases, what helps is to have already gotten familiar with the practice of creating videos ahead of time, where I can become moderately comfortable in being able to focus more on capturing that inspiration in the moment, even if it just means taking my camera out, putting it somewhere temporarily, and just being like, guys, I have to tell you this right now. And then it's just like, boom. And then you just put it into the camera and you just like record it like in that moment. If you literally feel like it's something where you don't want it to wait till later, don't worry too much about the production and just capture that raw energy, because like that's what people ultimately feel in the video. They feel the energy that you're expressing. It's not always going to be, like what would you rather do? Like, like have a video that has like nice lighting and a good tripod, but the energy is kind of a little bit different, or have something that's like raw and real and the energy is like so palpable. Like those are the videos that people are just like, whoa, they don't care about the production. They just want to be able to really be able to feel that energy. So with one thing as conscious creators that I've come to experience, and this has been a challenge of myself, is like when I do have that inspiration to like really try to commit to acting on it, like as soon as I can, because there have been so many times where I've had that inspiration and I'll be like, oh, that's an awesome video. I'm going to do it maybe this weekend. And then I won't do it this weekend. And then a week will pass. And I'm like, what was that idea? I'm like, I knew it was awesome, but it's like, where to go? And then you have to go check your notes, but you can sometimes bring it back, because it's like, the inspiration is almost like something that exists outside of time. So you can kind of like tap back into it. So that's kind of like a skill set in itself. But yeah,
can
just
I add to that?
Go for it, Cassius. Yeah, please, by all means.
Definitely. I want to say, because I was just talking about this with my mom earlier, and about being a content creator and actually creating and stuff like that, because I know most people know I've been making videos for like years now. And so I remember someone asked me like, how do you make videos? And I told them like, I make it in my head first. So I have, even on my notes on my phone, I have a whole notes that's just called TikToks, and I put all the ideas I want, and I script my videos, and then when I want to make it, then I go in, and then I'm like, okay, this is what I want. So like the vision or the idea of like what I wanted to say is on my phone, and then I like go through and I'm like, okay, what TikTok do I feel like making today? And then I go through, but I always make it in my head, and then the visual is there, and then when I actually go to make it, then it's like I'm excited because I'm like, okay, I'm getting this information out, and also I'm going to see how the vision in my head played out in the video. So definitely, I think that's a great way, like you were saying earlier about making excitement, is like being excited on how the video is going to turn out. Like sometimes it'll be worse or better, but I think that's what, for me anyways, that's what makes it definitely exciting. And for people that make videos, it should always be exciting like that.
That's very, very well said, Cassius. And again, just some like pro tips there. And Cassius speaking from experience. Yeah, like having those short form notes is super, super powerful. So, I mean, like if you don't already, just have a document either on your computer, on your phone, both, where it is just literally a notepad where it's just like awesome ideas, and call it something like that, like awesome ideas as a conscious creator. And like that can have subcategories in it where you are just putting those point form notes, because that's what you want to be able to do. Like, talk to any of the great inventors of the past and stuff like that. Like anything where an idea would come, like they write it down eventually, because the brain isn't actually a very good hard drive. Like it actually like runs out of space all the time. So if we're trying to like keep ideas in there, and then we go about our day and then we're doing a million other things, some stuff's just going to get like lost into the cloud, so to speak. But what you want to do is you want to like put it onto something that's more concrete, and then you go back and then you're like, oh yeah, that's the idea. But yes, for any videos, relative to what it is, and I do this a lot of times with videos, is again like having even just like a few point form notes. These are your main talking points, and then you just kind of ad lib it. And if you guys haven't yet, check out Cassius's videos as an example. Cassius does a good job of this, where you can kind of see like how he's making it even in the final production, where it's like short clips where it'll be like, you know, like him talking for 15 seconds, stop record, him talking for 15 seconds, repeat. And it's kind of this. So it's not this thing where it suddenly becomes this production where it's like, okay, I have to do this all in one take, but it's just like, okay, here's my point form note on paper, 15-second blurb with a little bit of an ad lib, onto the next one, onto the next one, onto the next one. Cassius has actually done an excellent job of being able to create like a production style that works well, and is also, again, kind of like an example that other people have done, but I think any of us could also kind of like mimic in our own ways as well. Cassius, I don't know if you... Yeah, I don't know if there's anything else you want to say on that, since I was just referring to you directly, but feel free.
Oh, yeah. Last thing I could say is, yeah, like, you know, I think that's the most exciting part, is finding your flow. And I'm at the part of trying to find my flow still, like in terms of creating like on a consistent basis. But even then, like if I have videos, like sometimes I'll spend the day like getting ideas, and like, because I'll learn in the day, and then I'll think of like a good video, and then I'll write it down. And sometimes like I'll just make TikToks on the fly and be like, oh, I want to do this, and then make it. So like always do, like if you're not enjoying it, you're not doing it right. I noticed, like, because it could feel like work sometimes. I remember a few months ago it started feeling like work, and I was getting annoyed. But if you just let it flow and like literally just do it from this is going to sound spiritual again, but truly just do it from the heart, and then you're going to enjoy like every second. And then when you make the video, you're going to be excited making it and seeing the, and like you're going to watch your own video and be like, yo, I did that nice, right? Like it's going to be like that. So just, again, yeah, just do it from the heart. And thanks for your kind words, Brendon.
No problem, man. Thank you. And yeah, that's, again, a lot of wisdom here. And again, we're here to be able to learn from each other's examples. Like, you know, like if one of us can kind of like figure out a workflow that others can kind of like experience in their own way, please, by all means. And yeah, again, I think there's a lot for us to be able to learn from each other. So let's keep passing things around. We'll go through, we'll put maybe like 10 more minutes on the clock for this question, and then we'll move on to the next question just to keep things moving. Kyle, and then Eloise, and then Darrius, and then if there's anybody else, just go ahead and use the Zoom raise hand button if you don't mind. That way, so it's just easier. So Kyle, go right ahead, dude. And again, the question, going back to the question, when are you in your highest excitement as a creator?
When I'm in my highest excitement, for me, it's basically when, like you guys were saying, it's like when you think about it, yeah, I get like a burst of excitement. I'm like, oh, I want to go do that. And for me, it's like cold stuff. So I'll go, like my first time going in up north, going up in the lake, when everything's frozen, I found a river. It was across from my camp. I was so excited. Like, I don't know, I forgot to bring a towel, forgot all these things because I just wanted to go in there and do it. And then also like, you know, get my girlfriend to get it on video. And then when we get back in the car, I sit in the front seat, I get the front seat soaked. And then I was like, wait, I'm like shaking like crazy. I was like, no, you got to get back in. So my excitement overrided what I needed to do, like tactically. But so I get really excited when I, you know, go in the cold, and I find during breathing sessions, there's a specific type of breathing where you squeeze your thyroid, like with your neck under pressure, and it kind of helps your creativity. It's weird. You have these eureka moments just laying on the ground while you're doing these breathings, and I have to like turn around and write it down in my note thing. And I'm going to say like my note on my phone, what you're saying, call it a title. It's called As Above, So Below, because, you know, we're tapping in. And like he said, like you guys were saying, like put short forms. It's like, so you can like retap that river. There's like a trail back to that river flow again. And that's what I feel like my notes help me do. And yeah, that's pretty, I'm most excited when I'm actually creating the content, and I'm still trying to learn how to figure out the whole back end of things, or it's kind of the harder part.
Thank you, Kyle. Yeah, and again, that's where us here as a community is totally, that's a big part of it. Like I've kind of said this in other broadcasts, where I acknowledge that for a lot of creators, they have all these like exciting ideas, but then they have trouble getting it into the creation format. That's where, again, you know, like us as a group, message me directly, let me know. Like I'm here to be able to help you with that, because what we want to be able to do is get to that point where if you have an idea, the process from like idea, from vision to fruition, is one that becomes ease, opposed to, oh, this is a great idea, but how the frick do I edit this video, or how do I publish, or how do I upload, or whatever, what's a TikTok these days. But anyways, so I just want to be able to share just my quick point form notes, and then we'll pass over to Eloise. So when I'm in my highest excitement as a creator, doing awesome broadcasts. This is a great example. You guys have seen some of the awesome broadcasts we've done. Like we've done like big broadcasts. Last week's broadcast, I really enjoyed that. It's not always about the scale. I do love being able to do the broadcast when we have like hundreds of people tuned in. And again, when I'm in my highest excitement is when I'm seeing and I'm witnessing other people expressing gratitude for the space and the broadcast, and them getting excited, other people tuning into things that we're creating and being like, whoa, like I synchronistically stumbled upon this, and I feel like I'm here for a reason, and this totally made my day, or it changed my life in some way, and I'm so excited. And you start seeing people kind of like get value over you just kind of like doing something that you felt called to do. So I'm in my highest excitement when I understand that the content and the spaces that I'm creating are serving others, because ultimately, again, that is a big part of our why, to be able to serve others. And then again, the other things that I really enjoy doing, a well-edited video. I love doing like my spiritual comedy videos. I enjoy when videos go viral. It's happened to me a few times on TikTok. It's not something that like I'm always like super I need that or anything, but when a video goes viral, that's always like something that's super exciting. And that's something we'll talk a little bit about in the challenges. It's like how do you move forward when your videos are barely getting seen and not going viral at all? How do you address that challenge? So we'll talk more about that, because I've experienced both ends of the spectrum as well. And yeah, getting beautiful feedback, and just getting to be able to connect with other fellow creators and seeing them succeed. So very much what we're doing here. And yeah, and the flow tree workshops and all those other things. Eloise, let's pass it over to you. When you're ready, go right ahead.
Awesome, thank you. So what I had to say was very echoes a lot of what everybody else was saying. I put it in different words. So I wrote down that I love to plan. The planning phase is like my favorite phase, because I get all these ideas and I get really excited about them and all the possibilities. And so that's where I really find that flow. And I wrote down in my flow as well, which seems like a lot of people did. And so, yeah, just like getting excited about all the ideas. And then one tip that I would have is that I use not just my notes, but my voice memos. And I think that helps me like really tap back into that excitement, because I hear the excitement in my voice, in the voice memo. And I, that just brings back all the emotion of when I had the thought originally. So if it's like, I do it a lot late at night, like when I have like that like thing late at night, but it's like I'm not gonna like get up and get out of bed and like make a video at 1 a.m, just because I'm too old for that now. But yeah, that has helped me a lot. So that's my one tip for you, Alicea. And yeah, and then so what I need to work on is like getting from the planning stage to the implementation phase and working on that. But I'm starting to get there. I did my first like TikTok video this week, and I'm working on some other content. So I'm really excited.
Well, Eloise, congratulations on your first TikTok video. Let's everybody here a round of applause for Eloise.
Thank you. It was
Celebrate
like
that
not that much, but thank you.
Where it starts. Yeah.
And my first reel too. I did a reel too. 2 in 1 week, man.
There you go. You got the momentum going.
I'm happy for you. I
Thank you
think
so much,
I saw
Candice.
your videos. Yeah, you
Thank
did
you.
an awesome job. I love the doggy. He loves you.
Thank you, Candice, as well. Yeah. Again, you know, you got to start somewhere. Every beginning starts small. So good for you, Eloise. And again, you know, one thing that I always say for fellow creators is, you know, look at every video, every event, every broadcast. Just look at it as practice. Every video, everything that you make is practice for the next one. So if you're just like, how do I make videos that are super amazing? It's like, start wherever you are and then just keep building as you go. And then you learn as you go. That's how I did. Like when I started on YouTube, I didn't start with the intention to go viral. I started making videos because I'm like, I want to get good at making videos now so that I can be really good at making videos in 3 years from now, because I knew that the universe was going to be like, all right, Brendon, we need you to make this video. And I wanted to be able to be confident in knowing that I could be like a good steward for that message. So again, you know, all of us here, like we're conduits of consciousness, we're stewards of consciousness. And when we practice showing up in a simple way, it's for the development of our creativity. But again, it's also to be able to kind of like answer those calls when we kind of like get those eureka moments where the universe is like, oh, here's a message for you, go put it out there. And you're just like, I got this, fam. And then you kind of do it and stuff like that, so to speak. Darrius, you got your hand up. Whoever else would like to go after this, go ahead and let me know. And any just kind of final notes, and then we'll go into the next question. So Darrius, go right ahead.
Yeah, so I just wanted to add to the flow, and I think because we're nailing on a couple of similar ideas as far as like the idea of like personal rhythm, which is like that kind of shared experience of where we all have these little tips and little techniques that we have for getting us into like a certain state, you know, getting us into like getting ready for performance. And I think one thing that kind of comes up here is the idea of power law dynamics. So like anytime you have some type of like organizing principle, which in this case would maybe be a habit or a routine, you're always going to have a guaranteed type of like phenomenon. So like, you know, there's the idea that 80% of the time we just kind of exist. And then 20% of the time we're executing, we're doing something, you know, we're performing, we're doing something important. So if you figure out that routine or that personal rhythm, you can kind of rely on those power dynamics to kind of show up in the moment when you need to perform. And Brendon mentioned it in a good way. You can think of it as like an ad lib. You know, the ad lib is the structure. That's the law that defines what's going to happen. And you just need to kind of show up and fill it in. And then that's when you see the creation.
Thank you, Darrius. Yeah, very well said. So yeah, again, there's so many different ways for us to be able to kind of like find the creative expression format that works for us. And I think that's part of the journey, is that, you know, you do want to be able to kind of like play around. And honestly, one of the best ways to be able to get started as a conscious media creator is to like look at what other creators are doing and mimic them. Not saying copy them, but mimic them in a way where if you see like a cool TikTok or something like that, be like, oh, like, especially if it's like a trend, you know, like the ones where they're like using audio, and you'd be like, oh, like I could do one like that. You know, there's ones where it's kind of like, I remember when I first started TikTok, there was a lot of trends, and there was like the things where they're like pointing on screen, and they're just like, it's like, here's my age, here's my sign, here's what I'm into. And I'm like, I can make one of those. And so you actually got the template, and then you just kind of start there. And then again, it starts with mimicking, but then the mimicking actually becomes like the platform for you to start figuring out how to begin to do your own things. And yeah, just getting creative with it. And Yeah. And not doing it just because it's like, oh, I hope this, goes viral, but just like doing it because it's just like, oh, this is me building momentum within my own practice. And the momentum is really important. I honestly, for me as a creator, sometimes the challenge is if it's like, oh, maybe, I've taken some time away, and then it's like, okay, getting back into the work, building that momentum. So it will happen where the momentum will kind of like rise and fall. But as a creator, it's being able to kind of like feel that flow, and then knowing how to kind of like get back into momentum, which we'll talk a bit about as we go. Kristen, let's pass it over to you, and then anybody else on this question topic, and then we'll pass it over to, we'll begin the next question topic. Go ahead, Kristen.
Thank you, Brendon. Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to mention, was just being able to kind of, whenever, one of the things that really excites me is whenever I have kind of a moment where I'm almost in a fog, where I feel like I'm really connected to more things than I feel like I can actually act upon, or I have a lot of creative inspirations and I'm not sure exactly which direction I want to go in. And then you finally find that like piece, or that little bit of, inspiration, or that first step to go, and then you feel that flow of energy, be like, okay, now I'm going to go in this direction. And then you just kind of pour yourself into it and ride the wave and let your creation flow from there. So yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, Kristen. And yeah, just checking in here, would anybody else like to be able to share on this topic before we move into our next question? So last call on this. And again, I appreciate, I know a lot of you guys are just kind of, even if you're just sitting back and taking notes and everything, that's perfect as well. So okay, so let's move into our next question. So the next question, and this does relate to the first question. Each one, again, it's kind of like we're going on a journey here. Now it's interesting, again, that we're talking about excitement, because it's like, okay, like what's the opposite of excitement? And if you were to think about that, it's just be like, oh, like doing something you don't want to do. So the question that we have here, and I'm going to just clarify something in a second. This is the question. What are some of your challenges right now as a conscious media creator? What are some of your challenges right now as a conscious media creator? Now, what I was just saying that I want to be able to clarify, allow yourself to be able to create that little bit of a shift within your narrative where it's like, wait a second, what are some of my challenges? That doesn't necessarily mean what are some of the things that I'm not excited about. You can be excited about your challenges. So think about that. There are some challenges that you may be experiencing right now that you have the option to be able to get excited about. Some you might not be as excited about. Some might be downright tedious. If that's the case, the challenges are going to kind of like land on different parts of that spectrum of excitement, but allow yourself to just kind of feel into that. What are some of the challenges right now for you as a conscious media creator? And that challenge could be like, oh, like creating the next big project, doing this and that. And again, you can get excited about that, but it is still a challenge. The challenge is like the obstacle, but it's also like the leveling up process. So let's take about 30 seconds for that. Just go into your heart space, connect with your breath. What are some of your challenges right now as a conscious media creator? Go ahead. Give it about 20 more seconds. Okay. All right. So again, very, very intentional, very important question. And as a conscious media creator support circle, being able to look at our challenges is such an important part of the purpose of this space. Like it's great to just be able to say like, oh, here's all the awesome things we are doing. But by being able to collectively look at our challenges, this is where we also begin to collectively find solutions. So what you'll find as a conscious media creator, all of our paths are unique, but they're all similar. So there are going to be challenges that many of us share. So rather than trying to do them individually, let's bring it into a space where we can see them, bring awareness to them, and then also out of that, be able to find solution. And as we go through these questions, the intention of this is so out of it, suddenly those challenges don't feel as daunting by the time we get to the end of this circle here tonight. That's the intention, to leave feeling inspired to take on those challenges with excitement. So let's go around the circle. Who would like to go? Neil, I'll pass it over to you. Again, what are some of your challenges right now as a conscious media creator? Go ahead, Neil.
Right. So I have like a couple of challenges. It's easier for me to really see what my challenges are because there's so many elements of the production process that I'm excited about. And definitely the major challenge is the redesigning of my website. I mean, my original launch date was over a year ago. So just all the drama that's taken place since then, all the money in order to get it up and still not even there. And I'm gonna have to probably start all over. So it's something I'm excited about, but it's been very, very, very daunting and affected me emotionally quite substantially. And now I'm just like, even though I'm excited about it, I lose excitement and then I regain excitement. And then, so having the support really and the right people has been an issue for about 2 years, because 2 years ago is when I started designing it. Then I dropped a team and then I went to another team. So that's one thing. And then my other thing is a challenge for me to really do that isn't something that I'm really excited about is emails, because we do so many events. I'm always sending emails out. So I send like 3 emails out a week constantly all the time for like 7 years. And so I'm always having to like create the emails. And then if I'm not having a good week or have a few days off, like I might just skip out a few emails, but that actually affects the eventual sales on events and everything. So just really the process of creating those emails, I'm good at creating emails and they're designed really nicely, but just like the whole aspect of like having to get into the promotional mode of it and the linear part of the email in order to send out to get people to open and then check the open rates. And because I do a lot of different things with all that just to make sure that the open rates go high. So that's kind of something that it's a challenge to me, and so much of a challenge that I actually skip out on emails sometimes when I'm supposed to. And I'm like, sometimes I miss a whole week and there's 3 emails that don't go out. So those are kind of my challenges right there.
Thank you, Neil. Yeah, for anybody who's ever done like email like newsletters and everything like that, I'm sure you guys can relate to that. And again, right now we'll just kind of like go around the circle. The next question will be kind of like leaning into a little bit of discussion on solutions, and whether or not like I can't guarantee that I'll have a solution immediately for all of your challenges, but let's just kind of put them on the table. And then as we allow everyone to kind of share, then we'll collectively be able to assess and navigate the discussion that way. So Neil, thank you again for sharing, dude.
I'll go next.
Sure, Candice, and then after that, we'll pass over to Lizzy.
For me, the challenge is I get concerned about putting my content out. Like I worry about, I wonder if it's too long, or I'm wondering, like, this is what goes through my head, is I wonder what I put out, if it will just go over people's head, like they won't understand it. Because like I tell myself, I understand my art because I'm the one that creates it. So I guess for me, my challenge is, even though fear comes up, it's just good for me to just push through the fear because that's what's gonna make me grow as an artist, as a conscious creator. That's me.
Thank you, Candice, and again, Candice, what you share there, incredibly relatable, and again, something we can talk a little bit more about as we move into this, where it's like yeah, a huge challenge is like that kind of uncertainty of how your content will be received, and I've been in the same situation where it's just like, and I've seen other people go through this, where it's the idea of like putting your heart into something and then it not being reciprocated, and not being like, no, like, you know, you're like really put your love into it, and then it goes out there, and then like no one says anything to you, and then after that it's just like, oh, do I bother doing it again?
It's like what goes through my head is I get really disappointed, like upset, but then it's like then I go through, well, maybe maybe my art is just not for everybody, but then that's just me being critical and saying, oh, I should do better. But like when I do put the art out and it's from my heart, I mean, that's a jam in itself, because like my way I create, there's nothing like it all in the physical realm.
Thank you, Candice. Yeah, and again, we'll talk more about this as we go, because I think, again, even going back to what Neil said, as well as Candice, like such a big part. A lot of the solution to the challenges that we're facing is really being able to consciously surround ourselves with people that support the work that we're doing. If you're around people that, you know, may not like fully be available to energetically support, that can be quite hard, where suddenly it feels like you're carrying a lot on your shoulders, or again, you're putting yourself out there and you're not getting reciprocated. We're very like energetic beings, and that's where, like, as community, just as a reminder, you know, kind of speaking on what Candice is doing, but honestly for anybody, for Neil and for everybody, taking that extra moment to really just send a kind message to someone and just be like, hey, like, I saw your content today and I really appreciated that. You have no idea how much that could mean to someone. Like I've been on the end of that. I've experienced that, where, like, you know, like some creators, like just knowing that one person openly received whatever it was that they put out into the world as a gift inspires them to do it again. And so, like, as conscious creators, a big part of it, and it's shout out to those in the YouTube chat, the masters kind of said this as well, where it's like, yeah, like a big part of being a conscious creator is like pushing through that fear of like being seen, but then also the fear of not being seen, and the fear of like the judgment of others, or the critical observation of another's eye, so to speak. But again, you know, it's also a chance to be able to overcome that fear. And again, I think the ways that we do it as conscious media creator is to be gentle with ourselves, and to kind of like start soft, start small. And again, in a community like what we've got, Candice may not have 1 million followers, but if she posts something and then we share within our community, we can celebrate it together. And then that in itself can kind of, you know, collectively, we have this audience where together we're all making sure that everyone's being seen. So that's super, super important. I've seen, I'll just say this real quick, where a big part of my motivation for even creating this space in the first place, for creating this project, was because I've seen this, like, this was like way back in like 2012, 2013, 2014. And it still happens today, but I would see creators getting started, and they're like putting out this content on YouTube, like this would have been back in the day, and they're putting their heart into it, and they're putting their heart into it, and they're putting their heart into it. But then for whatever reason, it just wasn't getting seen. It just wasn't getting reciprocated. And then they're just like, why even bother? I quit. And I would see them quit. Like, I've seen creators quit, and it breaks my heart. And then, like, for me, I'm like, I don't want that to happen again. Those creators are valuable creators. So again, like, supporting each other as a community and really being able to just like celebrate the little things that we're putting out into the world is so powerful. So just wanted to be able to put that out. Lizzy, is your hand still up? Is Lizzy okay? I think Lizzy had to go. Okay. We'll touch base with Lizzy a bit later. And I'm sorry, I didn't realize Lizzy had to jump out that second. Alicea, did you want to go next? Otherwise, Kristen can go next. I'm just keeping an eye here. Did Alicea Kristen, go ahead. You can go next. Yeah, go ahead, Kristen. Oh, Kristen, you're still muted.
Are you talking to me?
Oh, no. We got two Kristens. Sorry. But Kristen,
you can call me Pinot. You can just call me Pinot. That's fine.
Kristen C, you can go after Kristen B. Oh, weird. I didn't realize the letters was okay. Weird. Where's Kristen A? That's my question. Anyways, Kristen B, go ahead. Pinot.
Okay. Yeah, my challenges right now are I guess my biggest challenge has been I am a creature of habit. I love routine. It's been very helpful for me to be able to be a content creator, to have a steady routine and to have like a flow within my own creation. And I think I've gotten to a point where it's become kind of stale for me to be consistently creating the same things. And so I'll have these like really cool inspirations and then I'll be terrified and not do them and then do the thing that I'm like comfortable doing. So I think I'm going through a phase where I'm breaking out into a new level of comfort zone. So I'm really trying to just take action. I have a really good example of a TikTok I created that was totally unlike anything I normally create. And I posted it for about an hour and deleted it or put it on private. And then I had one of my like regular TikTok viewers message me and be like, girl, why did you take that video down? It was so good. And I was like, oh, I was terrified. I just didn't, I didn't know how it was going to go. So I removed it. And so, having that, like Brendon said, that support around you to just be like, yeah, try the things, do it, get out of that comfort zone. So yeah, that's my biggest challenge. And then I think the other really important challenge to keep in mind, especially if you are a content creator that is passionate about being consistent and creating on a regular basis, is being able to find a solid balance between showing up and doing the things that you feel called to do, and then still showing up for your personal self and that self-care and cleaning your house and doing the dishes and buying groceries. So just being able to have a healthy balance between doing the things that you love and are passionate about and doing the things like very similar with Neil. I think like I wouldn't be super excited to do emails either, but those emails are important for the other part. So just kind of keeping in mind the balance of all the things that have to be done in order to be successful.
Thank you, Kristen. We'll keep things moving along here, but again, just with what Kristen said, like absolutely, like a huge solution to any of the challenges is making sure we're balancing our life outside of all the work that we're doing with the work that we're doing. Because if you're like too much in your work and you're not taking care of yourself, that's going to create an issue. Like sometimes the best thing to be able to get ahead of the work that you're doing is to step away from it. To just give yourself a day to just completely unplug, go sit out in nature, go do some breath work, go do something fun that's completely separate, and then come back to it. That gap of like working with breaks in between is so important. So I just want to be able to emphasize that I do have to keep an eye on the time. I got some dad stuff that I have to do after this, so I can't stay too late, but we'll push it to about 10:15 at the latest, and let's keep things moving around. We'll go through real quick and then we'll get into the next question, and then the last two questions kind of intermingle. So Kristen, thank you again, and let's pass it over to Michael. I know your hand's up, so we'll pass it over to you, and then Cassius will pass it over to you after that. Go ahead, Michael.
So mine was actually similar to, actually, I don't think she's in here anymore. Or no, Candice, sorry. Gaining the confidence to speak up was one of them. Another one is when I get a message from spirit where it's kind of vague, where it's like I get part of a vision, like you should do this, but it's like if it's divided in 4, like I get the last part. Like, how do I get there? Type of thing. Cancel out the noise of judgment, because a lot of times you post things and you really are kind of like stopping yourself before you even post it, afraid of people, what are people going to say? And then the challenge of where do I start and funneling it down, like this big idea, funneling it down to like baby steps of where do I go from here. And then fear it doesn't resonate. And then, for example, like I plan on starting my own art business too. Like, where do I start? Do I start with Etsy? Do I, start with a website? The logistics of everything. That's another thing that I don't really know. So.
Thank you, Michael. Yeah, again, with any of that stuff there, it's super important to just be able to have that. Part of the work is just like doing the research and looking into the options. Again, I would recommend go back and check some of the previous dojos if you haven't, Michael. There may be some stuff there that will just help you get some clarity on that as well. And just going back to what Kristen was saying real quick, and then I'll pass it. I know Kristen C, sorry, we kind of skipped you, and then over to Cassius as well. And it's great to see everyone's hands up. One of the best solutions to the problem of, like, again, putting something out there is to put it out there in a very kind of like playful way, where you just kind of like, you put it out there and then you release it. Like as soon as you hit that publish button, you kind of release it without this expectation of it like needing to become like something super amazing. Because honestly, with a lot of content with TikTok and stuff like that, it's kind of a dice roll. Like sometimes you'll post something and it will like get like really good feedback. And then I've experienced this where I'll put my heart into something and it like barely gets any traction for whatever reason. It's like, I don't know, my profile or something like that. It's weird, man, but it's just like something where it's like, I can't allow that to emotionally weigh on me too much. I just get it out there. I know that it's out there. If some people see it, that's great. And a big thing as a conscious media creators, don't depend on those big audience, focus on the individual relationship. So even if your video is just getting seen by like 10 people, that's still very important. And then just focusing on those individual relationships. Kristen C, did you want to go next? And then Cassius, we can pass it over to you if you're available. Kristen, I know you're doing two things at once. Go for it.
Yeah, I'll do. Yeah, I wanted to just kind of echo some of that stuff with the, respond to some of that stuff with this concern about posting and then feeling kind of insecure about how it's going to go. Because as a conscious media creator, which we're all here because we identify with that title to some degree, it's one of the things we really need to be conscious of when we're in conscious media is be conscious of how social media is designed to meddle with our natural self-esteem and how it kind of plays out. So like the dopamine responses we get from the likes and all that kind of thing, we need to be conscious of that stuff because we're really going into this realm, this virtual reality, hoping to make really beautiful impacts on people whilst also kind of going into the war zone of our own, potentially rattling our own self-esteem for that purpose. So it's really important to really nurture your own, like a foundation of self-esteem that exists beyond social media so that when you're in there, it's less sensitive to the actual design of the platforms we're trying to use to give that medicine to people, whether it be art or products or services or whatever have you. So I wanted to talk about that because, and to not, shame yourself or get like down about the fact that it is difficult because the platforms are literally designed to keep you in that kind of hypnotized state with dopamine, self-doubt and that kind of thing because it keeps you using it and they want you to keep using the platform. But we have this beautiful like sort of, and shield of light coming in being like, I don't care, I want to like dilute the craziness of this environment with something good, like something meaningful that people can connect to. And that's definitely a battle that anyone that's trying to get out conscious material is going to be fighting. But it could be a way that we use, it could be something we're mindful of that we can use to motivate us to post anyway. So almost using that in that spite energy to be like, I know this is going to make me feel insecure to some degree, but I'm going to do this in spite of that because I want to rise above the the algorithm of virtual reality and how it tries to impact self-esteem fully in other people. Another thing I want to say is relate to, I can't remember his name, talking about his website that hasn't been on because I've been in the same boat trying to get my website sorted, and it's really hard to, I've had to come up against a lot of perfectionist stuff with trying to get the design right. And then since I started the website for now, I've become more multifaceted than I was when I first started it. And now it's trying to like find the overarching thing that ties it all together, because on social media, I feel like I'm offering so many different things that if new people were chiming in, it wouldn't really make sense to them what I'm actually trying to do there. Because it started with just the crystals, and that was a realm that I became really comfortable in. I was accumulating a lot of people that were into crystal healing and rocks in general, and now it's branched out to all these things. And I have a battle with sharing content that's like helps people make sense of what I'm doing, or continuing to grow the thread of content I've been making that talks to the people that have already been on the journey with me. So that's something that I'm battling now, because I have like a decent pod of loyal people, and when I'm have in the back of my mind the desire to bring more people into my field for the medicine of what I'm doing, I feel like I might be gypping my regular people by like not, I don't know what the word is, downplaying what I'm sharing to try and like, yeah, create a fresh connection. So that's the struggle I have. And also I'm sure lots of you might be able to relate to this too, that we have a lot of passion for the content and the message, but the passion for promotion doesn't necessarily correlate. So yeah, feeling really passionate about the why and the purpose underneath what I'm doing, and then yeah, transferring that passion into marketing or whatever, like exposure seeking and that kind of thing is really yeah, challenging for me.
Thank you, Kristen. Yeah, that's totally relatable. And I just want to say one thing real quick, and I'll pass over to Cassius. It's interesting because, you know, like as social creatures, like we're used to small groups. Like we're meant to function in small groups. This whole idea of like functioning in like groups of hundreds, if not thousands of people that social media has conditioned us to think is normal is not normal. That's not something that would normally happen. So like being able to just kind of like really like celebrate the small group, and, you know, like even if you were back in school back in the day, like imagine if you were just like working on art in a classroom and you share your art with like 5 people sitting at the creative arts table with you, and you'd be like, oh, cool. And you share this. You're not like expected to like run to every classroom in the school and show it to every single kid and then get mad when some of them don't pay attention. Like that's not realistic at all. So I think if we can kind of just like begin to celebrate like the smaller circle of what it is that we're doing, and then with that to get really clear on like the vibration of our content, and then knowing that, as Kristen was saying, it's about being able to create that clarity of what it is that we're offering, and to understand that, you know, like even though we don't want to think of it as promoting ourselves, what I like to be able to do is just think of it as being an ambassador for the value of your content. You're not just doing it because none of us are doing it because we like want like popularity and fame, but we do want to be able to have people's attention. So with that, we can curate the message. So I think if anything, there's a little bit of like built-in shame where it's like, oh, we're not allowed to talk about the things that we do in a way that sounds too salesy. But there is a way to be able to get confident in being able to invite people into the space that you're creating and the value you're offering from a place of confidence, where it's not so much like selling them something, but it's inviting them and putting out a signal with a clear vibration and doing it as a service so that they can see it, so that they can receive that signal and decide for themselves, oh, this is something that I want to be able to be a part of. Thank you for putting that signal out. So that's for me a lot of what being a conscious creator is. It's like it's being an ambassador for that signal, and then just kind of like finding that balance of it as well. Again, guys, this is some awesome conversation. I honestly wish this could be a 5-hour broadcast. I'll stay on as long as I can, but let's just keep things moving here. Cassius, I'll pass over to you. And again, reminder for everyone, we'll keep this conversation going. I do want to have, again, more of our just conscious creator work period similar to this throughout the week. So if you guys can reply in the Discord and just let me know your availability for these, I want to do more kind of like pop-up meetings like these where we can just kind of brainstorm on the go, because there's a lot more for us there. And there's constantly new challenges every week. Cassius, I'll pass it over to you. When you're ready to go right ahead.
All right, I'll make mine really quick. But hearing your guys' stories is interesting. Like I love hearing people's stories and hearing what you guys go through, because I'm also thinking about what I was going through at the beginning of making videos and in this area on TikTok in the what we were talking about. But I remember before I had so many challenges. A few of them though was trying to get traction, right? I was trying to get so much traction on videos, because then when they started to pick up, I was like, okay, well, you know, I want to get this heard now. I want to get this heard. So I was trying to get it out. But one thing I did with that was I started studying my own content. And that was also trying to find my video style. I was trying to find my video style and learning about TikTok and especially having people criticize me. So when I remember trying to get traction, I tried to like study my content, and I would study others. And when I'd make content, I would watch what ones did well and which ones didn't, and which ones I really liked and which ones I didn't. And then I would study. I would spend time really studying my own content and seeing which ones did amazing, which styles I liked and which styles other people liked. And then I started doing it from there. So I would just do like experimentation and be like, okay, I'm going to try this video and see how people feel, how well it does. And sometimes it'll do really amazing and sometimes it won't do good. So then I'll see what to do from there. But I remember even people criticizing me because people at my town don't talk about this stuff, right? So I remember when I started talking about it, I got criticized. Until then, when my videos started getting a little bit of traction, then they started watching my videos. They're like, oh, I watched your videos. And I wasn't gonna let my ego get up, be like, but what were you saying earlier, right? I just let it fly. I'm just like, okay, that's amazing, right? Whatever. But yeah, so it's crazy how like people criticize you until, then people see your stuff. But now, being in this for a bit, one of my biggest challenges is finding my flow and creating content at all platforms. So I'm trying to find, because it's like I'm making content here, but then also I need to branch out on others and find out how to properly make content there. So, I could have a good, like a good base there. So that's mine now, is just trying to, work on every platform and working on finding flow all together, because then you have like 5 platforms you're trying to mesh together, and then you're like, yo, like it could be a lot of work. But again, as you go forward, you start to find your flow, and I find it's getting easier for me a little bit. But definitely I think that's going to be a challenge for content creators like forever, is just, finding your flow and finding ways to create content fully all the time without burning out or, running out of ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, definitely.
Thank you, Cassius, and yeah, again, Cassius is a great example of what can be accomplished on TikTok. And Cassius, if you guys haven't seen his stuff, and again, I know it sounds like I'm hyping him up, but I'm hyping all you guys up. But Cassius, like, he's on his way to like 1 million followers on TikTok, which again is an awesome case study of just kind of like, like what he's done and how it's working. And I think there's been like a lot of like really awesome examples of, again, like, I'm grateful that his content is reaching so much, and it's going to be applicable to some, and then others are going to be able to learn from like other creators. So there's a lot of dynamic diversity between the creators that we got here within the group. And it was interesting, again, just with what Cassius was saying, because this is like even within my challenges that I wrote down. I'll just share this real quick. Some of my challenges right now as a creator, and it's been like this for quite a while, I guess, in some way or another, is being able to do a lot at once. This for me is a challenge as a creator. And it's been like this, like back when I started, it was like just YouTube, and then it was Instagram, and then it was like YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook. Then it was YouTube, Instagram, and Blog Talk Radio, which was like a broadcast podcast. And now it's TikTok, and now it's Discord, and now it's like so it's like, we really do, honestly, one of the best tips as a creator, if you're able to do this, is to like pick like one platform and just focus on that for like a good while, and then just really build up the momentum, which I think is exactly what Cassius did, was literally just focused on TikTok and then just really dived into that. Whereas, for a lot of us, we're kind of like managing a few things. As a creator though, sometimes we do have to make the choice to be able to say like, you know what? I'm going to put some of this on hold, and I'm not going to say I'm quitting it, but maybe I'm just going to focus a little bit more on my attention just for this project, just for like a week or two, and then see how that feels. And then if anything, it opens up a little bit more grace to be able to focus on other things. So yeah, my challenges, trying to be in too many places at once. But then also within that, the solution is having a routine and a workflow, which is very, very important. Time management for me, especially like, my time is so different from like a year ago. Whereas like a year ago, I was living in my bachelor apartment by myself, and I would visit Lacey every now and then. Now I'm like living in the same house with Lacey, and I'm a stepdad, and we're scheduling everything around like doing things throughout the day. And I'm like meeting Lacey after work, and she's pregnant and stuff like that. So for me, it's making sure that I'm not getting too hard on myself. It's knowing my schedule is different, but then it's adapting to my schedule and still allowing me to be able to do as much as I can. And I think as a creator, it's important for us to not get so hard on ourselves if we feel like we're not accomplishing everything. everything. And to just be able to say like, you know, it's just like, okay, today I'm just going to focus on one thing. And if I get that done, that's great. Even if I don't finish it, that's okay. It's putting in that honest effort, but again, balancing that with making sure that you're taking care of yourself at the same time, because we want to make sure that, again, we're not just like pushing ourselves into burnout, but that's where, you know, having a support network and just kind of like reaching out for assistance when we need it is super, super important.
Yeah, like I remember at one point
yeah,
I stopped making videos for like, this was a few days ago. I stopped making videos for like 3 or 4 days, and people were like, "Where'd you go? Where'd you go?" And every time I would go to make a video, and then something would happen where then I couldn't. So I took that as the universe. I recently learned this, like that's the universe letting me know, take a break, you know, pause, wait, right? And then I started listening, and I remember my engagement was going down a lot. Like I was watching everything go down, and I was chipping my teeth. I was like, oh no, like stuff is happening. But then I remember then I started making more, like, because I'm trying to make a TikTok a day now. That's trying to be my flow. So then I would start making more as I do a day. And then I'd see my engagement go up a little bit more. So I had to learn to not be hard on myself. Like you have to listen to what your body and your soul telling you to do.
And that's a great point, Cassius. A lot of it is listening. It's not just like listening to what the algorithm is telling you. It's listening to your heart, listening to your soul. And if your soul is legitimately telling you like, hey, I need to rest, go ahead and rest. Now, of course, as a conscious creator, you want to be able to make sure that, again, you're not like procrastinating, because that is something that can happen. That's something that I've experienced as well, where it's just like, oh, I'm just going to go play, you know, like I'm going to go do video games for a bit. And then it's like suddenly like a half-hour break becomes a 3-hour break. And it's like, oh, I completely didn't do what I was going to do today. Sometimes there's a time and a space for that, but it's making sure that we're keeping ourselves accountable. And then that's where, again, having the routine and having like, even just like before your next day begins, creating a little bit of a work log for what it is that you're going to do, a little bit of a checklist. That's super helpful. That's what, again, within our Discord server, I encourage you guys to do that work log channel within our Discord server. It's not just there just for show. It's there as a tool for us to be able to say, like, this is what I'm working on today. So before you even wake up in the morning, like the night before, create a list of what you're going to do that next day. And then again, just kind of like keep that as consistent as possible. And then again, eventually you'll be able to like find that workflow and that routine. Let's keep things moving around. Kyle, I want to be able to pass over to you. Cassius, thank you again for your input. And then from here, we're going to go into the next question, which will be the last question. I'm going to combine the two questions into one question. Kyle, go right ahead, dude.
Okay, yeah. My challenges are organization. Pretty much what everyone else was saying too, like mastering the social platforms. Like I started on Instagram a long time ago, and now that there's, like you said, there's so many, and I don't know, it's a little bit overwhelming, but it's like, I understand it's like Bitcoin or cryptocurrencies, like they're overwhelming, but the more you learn, the more you ingest data, your brain starts to figure out how to process it. And that's basically how I understand to learn. And another challenge for me is like finding a way to fully express myself. Like I have a lot of great ideas like comedy and there's certain things, and I haven't pushed that boundary of actually going for it yet. I'm just sticking with what I know, kind of with ice cold. Like it's easy, just go swimming in some cold water. Everyone's like, oh, that guy's nuts. You know what I mean? It's really easy right now, but I have a lot more that I want to express. And also like finding my self-worth in like this space of like, hey, if I'm going to do breathing, like how like, do I charge $20 a session? Like I just like giving things away to people. I like to, you know, I make cannabis products and here, you know what I mean? Like try it, you'll like it, it'll heal you. You know, I like doing that kind of stuff. And so I'm trying to figure out how I can, you know, find that way where I can find that self-worth in a sense. And like one of my strategies for posting now, like just started my first TikTok this week, I think. And like same with Instagram, I kind of do it. I post and ghost. I post it and that's it. I don't care. I'm not looking at it for a while. And then the next day when I'm over it and I look at it, I'm like, oh, that was a great video. And I'm happy with it. But in that moment, I'm just like, okay, put it and I'm good.
Yeah, that's exactly, man. I think that's a great way to be able to do about it. Not getting like too like anal about like expecting the video to perform in a certain way. It's great to be able to celebrate when it does perform well, but at the same time, not being too disheartened if it doesn't, you know, because again, it's all relative. But the most important thing is just like celebrating the fact that you got it out there. And then again, that becomes momentum for the next video. And again, it just starts like developing a little bit more ease. I would encourage, you know, for those of you who are doing TikTok, even what with Cassius was saying, a TikTok a day, if you can do that, even if it's just like, you know, Monday to Friday, aim for it. You know, I think as conscious creators, what we want to do is we actually do want to be able to give ourselves challenges where if we can say like, okay, I'm going to commit to doing a TikTok a day. Yes. Even for myself, you know, it's usually like one TikTok a day, Monday to Friday. And then it's like 1 or 2 Instagram posts a day. And then it's a lot of back end management and promotion and stuff. And I got things that I always have to do. And then within that, I'm making sure that I'm still doing the things that are like the fun things that I really like to do as well. And Kyle, with your stuff, you know, I would love to be able to like brainstorm and encourage you kind of like getting into like that space of using like humor and satire with the education of the breath work and the meditation and exploring like what that can look like for you, where you do kind of like bring in like the 2 sides of what you want to do into the bigger message of the content and the message of the conscious breathing that you're carrying with the work that you do as well. And again, if you guys haven't with Kyle, like me and him were talking it earlier. We're talking about doing like an upcoming like breathwork session for the community. So stay tuned for that. That will be something that we're in the process of organizing. And I know Kyle, even like another thing we were talking about with like in terms of routines, where we were talking about again, just kind of like for a week, it's like, okay, you know, like I'm going to challenge myself to do like a live broadcast every day for a week. But then again, at the same time, it's not just about doing the broadcast. It's also about maybe putting up a little promotion for it. So again, that's the ambassador role for your content as well. But again, just trying that out, feeling that out, doing live broadcasts is such a great way to be able to connect with your audience. Like, yeah, people can connect through the videos that you watch, but like those live videos are so powerful because like that's when they get to meet you. That's when you get to talk to them. And that's where you really get to develop those relationships. So if you can implement like 1, 2, 3 broadcasts a week, if you're going live, even just like low key, just to practice, try it out, see what it feels like. And again, use that as a way to build momentum for your community. And then again, if you've already got something else built up in the back end where it's like, hey, for everyone in my live broadcast, we've got an event coming up, be sure to join in for it. Having somewhere to direct people to and inviting them to connect further, such as a Patreon, is super, super powerful as well. One of my challenges for myself this month is building my Patreon. A lot of you have heard me talk about this, where my goal is to like build my Patreon up to 200 Patreon supporters before the baby comes in April. So like for me, in addition to managing everything else, like I'm really going to be like diving into being able to build my Patreon. I've got a few tactics with that involve like doing my live broadcast with the tarot and everything, a lot of like reaching out individually and stuff. But that's one of my challenges, but it's a challenge that I'm also excited to be able to do. But anyways, I just want to be able to let you guys know that Kyle and I are going to be doing some upcoming events, and then Kyle will be theoretically having his own upcoming events as well, but I'm here to support that. But yeah, Kyle, go ahead. Anything else you want to say on that?
I was just saying, I like what Cassius was saying earlier about, and what you're saying about doing Instagram live over and over, like as much as you can. Like the other day when I went for a run, I just did Instagram live because I'm excited about being outside, you know, naked and pretty much, you know, and it just came to me. But then I'm able to go back and look at my video, and then I'm watching my video and I'm like, holy fuck, my French comes out. Like, holy, I'm from Sudbury, Ontario, and my Sudbury comes out when I speak on like live. When I'm speaking more in these groups, like I'm more, you know, how I normally speak, which there's some Sudbury, some French Canadian in there. But when I'm on my lives, holy crap, I am literally like straight out of Sudbury.
That's hilarious, dude. Yeah. Going back and studying your content is also super, super helpful. I love going back and watching my videos as if I'm like another person watching it and be like, oh, like that was kind of cool. I actually really enjoyed that. It's so weird to do that where you're like, come back, you're like, oh, this is actually really neat. I'll do that sometimes, all the time. Yeah.
I learned stuff too. Like you said, you guys say spontaneous videos. Like I did one in a sauna and I'm dying, and I still haven't posted yet, but I'll go back and listen to what I was saying so then I can figure out how to do those captions and how to do. I want to figure out how to do that voice on TikTok where it's like, I can't even do it.
Oh yeah. We'll show you that. That's a
robot,
pretty straightforward feature. Oh yeah. You can play around with that. Get creative. So many weird features in TikTok. Man, we should just spend a day where we just like mess around with all the filters on TikTok. Like I still
try out new stuff on TikTok. Like, and if I scroll down to the bottom, I noticed that my content evolves, and this is for everybody. Like you see your content evolve slowly, and even like I'm at the point where I'm trying out like little animations. Like if you watch my most recent video, I posted one with like the arrows and like little stuff popping up, and that was me like testing it out and seeing how I liked it. And I was like, I looked at it, I'm like, oh, I like the way I did that, right? I'm gonna do that next time. And then I see how others react, and like I see how engaging it is. And sometimes I'll turn off like how I look at it and then try and see it from someone else. And I'm like, okay. And sometimes I'll look at it and be like, okay, I'm not going to use that song next time, or let me turn up the music or turn it down. Like, you really see how you evolve. And sometimes, like you guys were saying, you just have to post and just put it out, and then you see later, and then you like experiment, and then you look at it later and see what you could do next time.
Yeah. No, TikTok has completely changed a lot of the way that we show up as creators. I know for me, because like prior to TikTok, like I was focusing on like editing like full length, longer videos on YouTube that would take me like a week to edit and stuff. And I love that. And honestly, I miss it. Like I've been so busy with other stuff. I haven't gone back and do this. Like my focus has been on broadcast, TikToks, promotion, event management, and everything like that. But like going back and editing like my conscious movie reviews, I'd love to do one of those. And then I'm saying this to myself because I'm like, maybe I'll make time for myself to be able to do that. It's important to make time for ourselves to be able to do the things that excite us. Let's move into the last question, because the last question here is very important, and we'll kind of summarize everything here as well. So thank you again, everyone, for sharing. So here's the last question, and we'll go until we're done, but it won't be too much longer. So the last question, you guys get ready to write this down, and we'll just go quiet at it for a little bit after this. Relative to the questions before this, what would it look like? Okay, wait. Okay, so the previous question, what are some of the challenges right now as a conscious media creator? That was a question we just asked. The next question right now, what would it look like and feel like if these challenges were resolved? What would it look like and feel like if these challenges were resolved? So like imagine the reality where you're just like, I'm in my flow, like I'm creating, I'm engaging, I'm getting the feedback, my community's growing, my Patreon's growing, I'm hosting events, whatever the case may be, right? It's all going to be different. And yeah, and the last question, which kind of ties into this, can all be one question. How would things be different if they were resolved? Which I guess is kind of the same question. But yeah, what would it look like and feel like, emphasis on feel, if they were resolved? So like imagine you in that kind of like ideal flow as a creator. Not to say that no more challenges will come up, but rather, you've kind of like found that sweet spot. You've found the adjustment within your own attitude towards them, and things are flowing smoothly. So what would it look like and feel like if those challenges were resolved? So go ahead and take another 30 seconds for that and just write things down for yourself. Go for about another 20 seconds and we'll come back. Okay. All right. So we'll come back from this one. So again, the previous question, what are some of the challenges you're experiencing as a conscious media creator currently? And then the next question, which we're on right now, what would it look like and feel like if these challenges were resolved? So last question for today. So let's just really feel into this. Because again, it's interesting because this doesn't just go for our discussion today. One thing very, very wise that was given to me by someone is basically this idea that the answer, like the solution to our problems are the solution to the problems are in the problem, if that makes sense. Like the answer is in the problem, so it's just kind of like, oh, how do I make more time for the things that I'm trying to do? It's just kind of like, okay, well, you make more time, but that's kind of not the best example, but it's kind of this idea, by addressing what it is that's out of place, it's actually pointing indirectly to how to be able to find the direction that we would rather be able to go in. So let's just take a moment here to be able to share. And again, kind of moving into the conclusion of this broadcast, really like feeling the excitement where it's just kind of like, yes, as I move out of this event here tonight, taking those actionable steps. So like that's kind of like what we want to go to is like, it's like, you know, like what are the steps between this and where it is that we're going to yeah, okay. So Candice, go ahead. Yep.
So if the question,
Candice, can you move a little bit closer to your mic? I think you're a little bit quiet for some reason.
how's that?
I think that's a bit better. Go for it.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, go for it.
I'll turn here. I just moved my phone.
Yep, that's better.
Hear me now?
Yep, go for it.
So when I find that if all these questions were resolved, I would feel complete and at home. And also I envision myself, me being another person, but watching me as a TV set. And I think that would just be so cool to see myself as a TV, because it's just like to just put content out there that is enjoyable for people to watch, and at the same time learning perspective of what, like, bringing what it's like to be in the flow of being joyous is really cool. So I guess for me, it would just be, I would just be more free flowing, and it just be cool to put myself in different spaces and watch me as an entertainer on a TV set. That's me.
Beautiful. Thank you, Candice. And again, thank goodness, like with our internet, it's like your Instagram profile is our broadcast network. So I mean, Candice, I know there's a lot of ideas rolling through you, and we can talk more about this later, but I would encourage, you know, all of us, if Candice is doing a live broadcast, we can tune in and just kind of like show some love and hype her up. And yeah, and again, I know just being able to be in that space where we're celebrated and supported is really a powerful way to be able to help open our hearts, build momentum for the next things to do. And Candice, again, thank you so much. You're a very inspirational person, and your courage is contagious. So thank you again, Candice, for sharing. Okay. All right. Thanks, Candice. Well, let's keep things moving here. Again, we're just being mindful of the time, but we'll just keep going. So what I was going to say real quick is that, you know, as the answer to this question, again, you know, it's like, what would it look like and feel like if these answers were resolved? I think one word that kind of comes to mind real quick is like rewarding. You know, like rewarding, not just like in whatever way that means to you. Like, what does it mean for your content to be rewarding? Because sometimes this can be, it's like, oh, it's like, for me, it being rewarding is like me receiving energy back by the energy that I put in. It creates like a sustainable system. So what you actually want to be able to do is create a sustainable energetic system through the energy you're putting in and the energy you're getting back out of it. And at that point, like, you doing some of the grunt work is still something that feels good. It's not something where it's like, oh, I have to do this. Or sometimes it may still be, but even still, again, just being able to find that kind of like sweet spot where, you know, it's like, yeah, this will be a little bit of grunt work, but then it pays off, and it pays off in the feedback that the people are giving you. In some cases, it pays off in like the financial freedom that you're cultivating. Freedom and reward are some of the key words that I think kind of should be something that we can just kind of like focus on, like, what does that look like? What does that feel like to you? Anyways, let's keep going around. Kristen, we'll pass it over to Kristen C. We'll pass it over to you just because I see your hand up, and then either Michael or Kristen B, we can go from there. So Kristen C, go for it.
Yeah, I love what Candice said about the being able to watch herself. I feel like social media can be a real vision board of what you are and what you're about, and it is pleasurable to watch back, especially as we evolve and everything. I put that it would feel expansive, empowering, and organized. And yeah, like you said, the answer is in the response, is that if I was more organized, I would be able to reach a new level of expansiveness and empowerment of myself. And yeah, pretty similar to what you said. I would feel like my work is an ecosystem of effort, service, and bliss, and each thing kind of feeds into one another so that I can continue like it's a machine of fulfillment for me and other people, rather than it being like, oh, maintenance mode, oh, inspired mode, and like, it's all part of the thing. So yeah, that's what I would say.
I like that. I like that. Very well said. And yeah, again, like I kind of referred to this earlier, but this is very important. Like for any of us here as creators, when we're in those spaces where like it feels like the excitement and it is kind of like waning and things like that, pay attention to that. As a conscious creator, one of the most important things to remember is that it's okay for you to change things up. Like don't get into this idea that it's just like, oh, I've started doing things one way and people know me for this and now they're expecting me to do this. Not necessarily. They're expecting you to follow your heart. And if your heart wakes up one day and it's just like, guys, I got a new idea for a project. We're going to put the other chapter, we're going to close that, and we're going to start something new. The people that really resonate with you and support you, they will follow you that way. That's okay. The people that don't, that's okay. That's where their journey and your journey kind of go different ways. But as a creator, I think sometimes we suffer with this where we're just like, oh, like I'm this person, or I host these events, or I create this type of content. And then eventually we grow out of it. We actually grow out of it, but we hold ourselves back because we think we're supposed to still be what we were. And so when you give yourself permission to literally just create a blank slate and just be like, okay, if I could start fresh, what would I want to do? What would it look like? What would it feel like? And then start paying attention to that and start writing it out, and then kind of like finding that balance where you can start to even kind of transform where you are into something new as well. So Michael, let's pass it over to you, and then Kristen, and then anybody else, and then we'll pretty much be done after that. So go ahead, Michael. Yep.
So I just wrote keywords down, not that many, but one I wrote down was transformative / magic, because I feel like for me as an artist, like when I'm painting or drawing or something like that, you get in the zone and you just like lose time and space basically. And like when you don't feel like there's obstacles or boundaries, it's kind of like limitless sometimes. And then another
Michael,
one.
can you just pause your music in the background? Okay.
Yeah,
go for it.
Okay. So the first one I said transformative, and then second one is freedom. Freedom is kind of just like freedom to do what you want. You don't feel like you're limited to a schedule or things that you have to do. You also feel like you're productive. Like when there is no obstacles, it's kind of like you're able to get things done and feel accomplished. And the last thing I put was purposeful, where you feel like what you're doing is for a reason. Before, like you would work 9 to 5 jobs and feel like you're kind of wasting your time. But now it's kind of like, you feel like you're on the right path going towards what you're supposed to do. So.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you, Michael. Very well said. And again, some very, very important keywords there. As you're saying that, I'm just being reminded, damn it, I can't remember. You guys know what I'm talking about? That thing with the stuff. I'm not even explaining it. Yeah. I wonder if anybody actually knows. I'll figure it out. Kristen, you go, and I'm going to figure out what it is, but then I'll come back to it. Go ahead, Kristen.
Okay. The feeling for me that came to mind was peace, because for me, whenever I finally feel like I've reached that level of expression that I'm desiring, I feel this wave of peace and love that just fills my body. And so I feel like if I can achieve those, overcome those challenges, and fall back into that flow state, then you get to connect with that peace, which is one of my motivations. And then how would things look different? I think for me it would be I definitely resonate with what Michael was saying, where it's like being able to be free to really just express and not feel like you kind of have to, again, Brendon said too, show up in the same sort of ways, and being able to really listen to that divine expression and give it the space to be without feeling like you need to continue in that mold. I know, especially as content creators, it tends to be, in our highest good to find a niche and be able to, streamline content. And so I think it would be really cool if you could get to a place where you can just like let yourself be an expression, and have that be truly where your success comes from. So.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's again, for so many of you guys, I hold space in my heart for you guys to really just be able to do the things that you want to do, where it's just like, oh, I really want to host this event, or oh, I feel called to make this video, or oh, I feel called to take a week to create like some sort of like mini ebook or something like that. Like whatever the case may be, like I hold space for that. And again, that's where, for so many of you guys, having like a Patreon or something like that can be super, super helpful, because then again, at that point, people are supporting the creator. And then it's like, whatever you feel called to do, as long as you're communicating back to them, again, they're there to be able to help support you as well. And that's stuff we can talk more about as we go. This was what I was talking about here. Does anybody know what I was talking about before I was going to say it? It's the thing with the stuff with the destiny and the stuff like that. Anyways, I'll just share it. You guys know what I'm talking about. It's that Japanese term, ikigai. I can't pronounce it. Ikigai. If you guys can see it on screen right now, again, for those of you on Spotify, it's that like 4-wheel infographic where your like destiny, your reason for being, is kind of like finding that middle space between what you love, what the world needs, what you can get paid for, and what you're good at. So that's where it's the balance of our passion, our mission, our profession, and our vocation. So I would encourage you guys to just kind of like study that chart and to really just kind of like meditate, like what is it that you love? What is it the world needs? What can you earn financial support through? And what are you good at? And then finding that balance in the middle, because each and every single one of us has a unique way of being able to bring something of value into the digital space for community. And we're here to be able to help support each other in doing that. So just stopping the screen share there. But yeah, I think that's a good model as well. Let's go around Kyle and then anybody else after that. And then we'll just get into closing gratitude and then we'll be done for today. Again, I know, with a lot of what we're doing here, a lot of it is preliminary discussion, brainstorming. So that's where, again, for any of the creators, continue to use the Discord. I do want to be able to, the best of my ability with my schedule, continue to have kind of like these pop-up brainstorm sessions. But the best way would be to, again, even just like reach out to me individually, even if you guys want to set up like one-on-one sessions and we can dive in personally to your own work and help get some clarity as well. I love being able to do that. And again, that's available for the Patreon supporters. So Kyle, let's pass it over to you. Going back to the core question, go for it, dude.
Same thing. What a lot of people are saying is, like free, you feel happy. I feel like what it would look like too would be like a little bit more dancing, more comedy and more philosophy in some videos. I grew up like, grew up with YouTube and learning dance moves. And it's funny that like when I see TikTok, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And like, that's kind of what I grew up doing, like, learning dance moves. So when you go to the bar or you go to a party, it's like, it's funny how it's changed. And also how it would feel would be like, you climbing a mountain. You climb the mountain, it's hard. The whole process is hard, but it's fun. Like you're seeing the views, you're exploring different parts of the mountain. And then when you get to the top and you look down and you're like so accomplished and so happy for doing that. I feel like that's what all this organization coming and, getting to that point. It feels like I'm climbing a mountain. And when I'm at the top, I'm going to be excited and I'm going to cherish that moment. And the whole moment all the way up the mountain too. But basically, yeah, that's it.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah, and enjoying the journey. So for any of us, again, it's just reminding ourselves that like we're on our way. Like you are exactly where you need to be in order to get to where you're going. So the best solution as a conscious creator, like be where you are. Like it's great to be able to have the vision, but just first and foremost, be where you are, feel what it's like, And then again, through the process of discussion and journaling and just philosophizing, we get to be able to kind of tap into the clarity of like, oh, this is where I'm feeling called to go to. A lot of what we talked about in the previous week with our Conscious Media Creator Dojo 2 weeks ago, again, one thing that I talked about where a lot of what we're doing here as conscious media creators, it's not something as simple, excuse me, as just calling it a job. This is a devotion. And like, this is something, it's a vocation. It's a calling. It's like literally a calling from spirit to be able to say like, hey, bring this out into the world. So for many of us, again, it's being able to align ourselves with what it feels like for that calling. Kristen, do you have to head out? Do you want to just say bye? We're just into closing. Oh, she's gone. All right. Well, we got a few people left. We're ready to close it off anyways, but anybody else that wants to be able to share? Michael and Kyle, you guys still got your hand up. I'm not sure if there was anything more that you guys want to share on that, but let's just get into, again, some closing notes here. So again, with this circle, the solutions arise through a lot of like the discussions, and if you're feeling like you're in those places where those challenges are a little bit overwhelming, just reach out for help, reach out for assistance. That's what this group is for, and that's like ongoing as conscious media creator, because there will be challenges, and your challenges are not always going to be entirely unique. So if you can bring them into the space as a community and say, hey, look, this is a challenge that I'm going through, let us know, and we're more than happy to be able to help support it, and we can brainstorm and help get clarity on it together. This has been a beautiful, awesome conversation. Again, I know this is one that we could keep going on further for, but we will continue these conversations within our private spaces for our members as well. And again, some of that will be through individual pop-up Zoom events, and also within the workspace within the Discord. And I'll keep you guys updated on that within a time that fits my schedule. Quick note, next week's Thursday event is going to be our dream discussion circle. So the one that me and Lacey normally do on Saturdays, we're actually moving that to Thursday this week. And that'll be really, really fun. And we hope more people can join in for that. Let's just close it off here with any closing gratitude. And again, any just like feedback on how you guys enjoyed the circle. And then we'll be done for today. Candice, go ahead.
Just one question. So since you're moving the dream discussion for Thursday, will it still be on Saturday, every second Saturday, or just doing Thursdays for right now, or you know what I mean? I'm talking about the dream circle. Brendon?
I think Brendon might have froze, but Candice,
Yeah, I think that's what I thought. He froze.
I would think if we're doing the dream discussion circle on Thursday, he's probably doing the like the group one, so it's not the same as the one that Lacey normally puts on.
Yeah,
Probably
that's true. That's true. Yeah, because I know he talked about him and Lacey talked about having a